all the, that size up, as well as that I was late. I began from my school around 5:40, and I thought, because I promised him that I would be meeting you 10 minutes earlier before you begin the function. So I was late. So my apology for being late. Thank you very much.
Traffic is also constant.
Thank you, sir. We also have with us a key figure in the power sector, former CMD of NTPC, former advisor, Power, Government of Orissa, and current president of India Energy Forum, Shri P.S. Bami, who has more than 28 years of experience in planning, reorganizing, and developing structures, systems, and procedure. Let me invite Shri P.S. Bami to deliver his address.
Respected Shri Nair, eminent panelists, my mentor in NTPC, our first chairman, Dr. D.V. Kapoor, Colonel Wahi, Mr. Jain, and very other eminent persons who are present over here. Well, I'm very grateful to Professor Sinha, I should say, who was my colleague, Mr. R.V. Shahi. We were all colleagues in the NTPC during the times of Mr. D.V. Kapoor. And I think whatever he has said, unleashing the power of people, it was practiced in India much before, also before his time. Right in the first board meeting, which took place in 1976, the structure of NTPC was approved. D.V. Kapoor was the first chairman. And we said there will be three corporate functions: corporate planning, corporate finance, and corporate personnel in those days, which was later on converted into the HR. So this was the concept which we started. Then there were other service divisions. You see, it was the, you can say, project management, then you have the technical divisions, the quality assurance, then other projects were each individual. That was the structure which was designed. So from the very day first one, the corporate HR was the concept. And I think later on you developed it very well. And I think during those times we faced some difficult decisions also. But I think the main culture of the company was even designed at that very stage. You will be surprised to know that 1977, 76 the company was formed. Training was a very important aspect of the NTPC. The first batch of ETs, executive trainees, was taken. And it joined in the, I think, January 77. Second batch was taken in 1978. Third batch was taken in 1978 again. And fourth batch was taken in 79. They are the core of the NTPC today. And I think I am very happy to see all the current directors, except I think Director of Finance, are all those ETs who had joined in the earlier days. Not only that, I think KK knows about it. Most of the power sector top people today in the power sector are from NTPC. So I think this goes to the culture, the organization structure, which was designed in those days. Mr. Sinha mentioned about one or two incidents during my time, but he forgot to mention one thing. When we decided to go, his own director was not in favor of going, because he said we cannot face people in an open session and then talk about, all these demands which we are talking about. I think I agreed with them, and we all went to, I think first project was Singrauli. I said, you accompany me. We had an open session. All engineers were present over there. And I said, put the mics so that anybody who wants to speak can speak. And demands were very small. They were not big demands. But main problem was, and I think that probably all HR people know about it, grievances are not addressed. They are not looked into. And what they said, sir, what we request for, no reply is received. I think I gave this job to him. I said, within 15 days, whatever letters people write to you today, I said, I'll repeat them because they may not be available there. Please see to it that replies are given. And I think This was a job given to him at that time. He was, I think, deputy DGM, at that time was DGM. So the request came from all other projects also. We repeated that kind of experience at Rehan, Korba, Vindhyachal, even in Faraka. So I think this is understanding the problems of the people and addressing them. I think people, what they want to know in the HR is that please behave in a manner that we are also having certain problems and they must be addressed too. So I think these are some of the problems which every executive at the top on the HR side knows about it, and he also faces them. But how we tackle them is something memorable, which those incidents he has repeated to you. We have a number of chairmen writing books now on NTPC. Rupai Chaudhary has written a book with a very interesting headache, Management by Idiots. And I had the pleasure of reading that. And our former chairman, Mr. A.K. Shah, 60 years experience he has in power sector. He has written a book, Footprints on the Sands of Time. All experiences which he had in the power sector earlier in UPSCB, then in NTPC, and later on in the other departments in the government. So these are all doyens of the power sector who have come out from. Now our mentor in NTPC is writing a book, Story of NTPC. So I think it's NTPC story. Story of building NTPC. So I think the emphasis is on how organization structures, how organizations are built, and what is the message in that, which lives, even if he has left long back. But I think the foundation which he has laid, the ideas which he has given to the NTPC today, and today we are one of the, I think, largest corporations in the world today. And I think all credit goes to our mentor who founded the foundations of that thing. All of people, we have followed those culture which he has initiated at the time. World Bank was one of our big funders. $4 billion we got on the early totality. And credit for that, coming to that stage was primarily, I would say, that the culture which we had built it up, and the corporate culture, corporate finance, and also the whole discipline of HR today, which we talk about, it was practiced during our time. So I wish him, I think this book which he has written, I have not read that, but I do hope that it will be something which people can learn from the actual experience of the people who have designed these things, who have practiced these things. With these few words, I wish him well, and I think the people who will be able to go through the books probably will have some lessons, at least the younger people during their time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. We also have with us Mr. R.V. Shahi, Chairman, Energy Infratech Private Limited, who held the position of Secretary to Government of India, Ministry of Power from 2002 to 2007, and was responsible for various policy initiatives and implementation for the entire power sector in India. I invite Mr. R.V. Shahi to share his views.
Respected Mr. Nair, Mr. Bami, Mr. Rupai Chaudhary, I should say Dr. Rupai Chaudhary, Dr. Preetam Singh, Mr. K.K. Sinha, respected Dr. D.V. Kapoor, Colonel Vai, who has just gone out, a lot of our friends from NTPC, other guests and invitees, distinguished personalities, ladies and gentlemen. At the very outset, I must congratulate Mr. K.K. Sinha for putting his thoughts into this book. About a couple of months back, he was sharing with me that he has almost finished this book and that he would like a short endorsement, which I did. Of course, I didn't have the privilege of seeing the book yet, but he was nice. A couple of days back, he sent me an email listing the chapters of the book and the preface, perhaps preface of the book. That gives some idea. Really, I have not seen, except that seeing the cover of the book with Mr. Nair just now. The first thing, I mean, it's already becoming a lengthy session, so I would take short time only. The first thing I would like to say that I have known Mr. Sinha for many, many years, more than most of the people here. When he started his career with coal washeries, and at that time, coal washeries used to be part of Steel Authority of India Limited, Hindustan Steel. And I, after a brief stint in steel plants, I was in the headquarters of Steel Authority of India Limited and overseeing various units, including the coal washeries. And that's the time Mr. Sinha was working for coal washeries. So that was, I think, way back in 69, 70. So I have known him from 69, 70, almost from the beginning of his career. And then as Mr. Sinha said that when we were building the team in NTPC, and I entirely endorse what Mr. Bami just now said, that HR function, which has been used as the main platform for this book by Mr. Sinha, and rightly so, because of NTPC and because of his contribution in HR function and management function. That seed was sown right in the beginning. I don't recall any public sector company in the country, because my own leaving Steel Authority of India Limited to join NTPC had a lot of thought process that went into my mind whether I should join at all. Because at that time, Steel Authority of India was a giant and this was just coming. And many of my friends were saying whether NTPC will be beyond Singrauli or what. So I don't recall having worked in such a large organization for almost 10, 11 years in SAIL. And there were many others. BHEL was in existence, Fertilizer Group was in existence. There are many. I don't recall any organization in the public sector particularly which would give as much of an importance to the personnel function as NTPC gave. That is for sure. And this is also perhaps, and let me delete that perhaps, this is the most important responsible factor which contributed to NTPC performing with a difference. Those days, this is the phrase we used to say, perform with a difference. We used to say, I used to lecture to executive trainees those days, that NTPC is using same technology as electricity boards are using, same land, same useless coal with lot of ash content and stone. How will it do more than 50% plant load factor or 54% plant load factor when most and almost all electricity boards are struggling there? So how should NTPC perform with a difference? This seed was sown then. I remember when I joined NTPC, we were 100 strong. I had a crucial role to play. And at that time, NTPC had taken a decision that NTPC will follow all HR policies of BHEL till the time it framed its own. And it took a task upon itself that within a period of a year or two, it should formulate every area of human resource management, every area of industrial relations, every area of those days also corporate social responsibility, rehabilitation, resettlement, etc., of its own. And there was a very happy day, and Sinha was a part of the team, very happy day when it is BHEL which started following NTPC personnel policy. We had a process. As I said, Mr. Sinha at that time, I am talking of around 82, 83, was heading the personnel function in one of the power projects. At that time, we had Singrauli, Korba, Ramagundam, Farakka, and perhaps we had added Rihan and Vindhyachal, the 6. And our process was full involvement of the site, not that headquarter corporate HR or corporate finance and other functions will formulate the policies. All policies were formulated with due involvement and full respect to the views what comes from the site, and it is there where Mr. Sinha and his colleagues from the sites used to contribute. I think those were the days which Mr. Bami was just now mentioning, and I am only trying to elaborate a bit, which formed the basis. And therefore, when I saw this title of the book, experiment, like Mahatma Gandhi's book, Experiment with Truth, experiment with unleashing people power. I think not now, many, many years, or in fact many, many decades ago, unleashing people power is an established thing. If a corporate, if an organization, whether it is armed forces, whether it is churches gave rise to most of the management principles. And then came the defense establishment, which gave rise to most of the management principles. Unleashing people power. Any organized setup, if it does not believe in unleashing people power, and which is what electricity sector of India did not believe till NTPC came on the scene, then that does not